So our new president,
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So tell me your immediate views about him, his decisions, the first subsidy wahala, the cabinet. I heard I saw on the news one of the ministers, the ministry, they were protesting this morning, or was it yesterday?
Okay.
That he locked a lot of them out because they came to work late.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm not impressed anymore. I mean, you got people out. Okay, fine. I'm more impressed in the kind of policies you have.
Yes.
And how you want to carry out those policies. It's okay to work latecomers out, you know, and you know, but that's not the only way. That's not the only thing to do.
Yeah,
there are plenty of things to do. So I'm more interested in what plans do you have, and what kind of results should we be expecting. Now, coming back to the questions you asked, so the president has been in office for 4 or 5 months, right?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
And, you know, he's taking some very bold decisions.
Yeah.
The first one was the removal of the subsidy.
Right? Which I support.
For me, it's inevitable. No, so I always say this. I know I had a couple of, you know, I've been engaged in a number of discussions with a number of people. And I think people are not looking at this from the big picture. You see, in life, it was just that they made it that very popular statement that there are 2 ways of helping people. You can either give them fish, or you teach them how to fish, right?
Yeah.
So for me, subsidies like that, right? So you can have your subsidies or your fish in many ways. You can take it and eat it, or you can take it and learn how to, you know,
multiply it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now, it's so easy to say, oh, give us subsidies, you know. When you take subsidies and you consume, it goes into consumption, right? It's like you're eating your future now.
Yeah.
It makes you dependent on that subsidy, on that system, right?
Yeah.
But when you take the same resources and you invest in capital goods that will produce more goods,
yeah,
right? You're basically
multiplying it. Yeah.
Multiplying it and fortifying your future and basically creating more prosperity for yourself. So there are many ways of, I mean, for me, life is all about subsidies, let's face it. When we were born, we could not do anything. So our parents were practically subsidizing us.
Yeah.
All through primary, secondary, and
university.
Even after university, your parents are still subsidizing some people. But the question is, can that kind of subsidy continue forever?
Yeah.
So do we want subsidies that will make us dependent, or the ones that will make us independent, right? So I think the way subsidies have been structured in Nigeria have always made us dependent. And when you subsidize consumption that way, you don't have enough left for investment into infrastructure or capital goods. Those, because they are also some kind of subsidy.
Of course.
Now I'm seated here. Assume between here and my house, there are no roads.
Yeah.
But I want that money given to me to go and buy something for me to eat. I mean, there's, of course, the option of all of us pulling resources together and building roads for ourselves, which is essentially subsidizing transport. We could, all of us can walk. We can say, okay, you know what, I want to walk. Oh, I'm not going to wait for somebody to come and spend the money smartly. Let me just take the money, use it to buy food now, and I'll be walking home every day. But if that money is put into infrastructure, then I become more productive. I get faster, I can do more, more goods can move on that road and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now, subsidy removal, subsidy itself is one of the reasons why it's been so difficult to invest in the petroleum sector.
Yeah.
Absolutely impossible, because why would anybody want to build refinery when petrol is being sold below the price in the country?
Yeah.
This is what a number of people didn't understand or still don't understand. What drives the price of petrol in Nigeria is the international price of oil. Those components, the other components about transport, shipping, blah, storage, they're actually small elements. The big element is how much it costs in the international market, how much the price of crude oil in the international market. So the higher this thing goes up, the more expensive it becomes. Now, people have made the argument, oh, we are an oil producing country. We should be getting benefits. The problem is, I don't think Nigeria should actually be called an oil producing country. Because if you compare the numbers with other countries, Nigeria is 210 million. We're producing at about the same level as Libya, maybe actually slightly lower than Libya. Libya, I don't think they have over 10 million people in Libya. And people...
No.
Yeah. And people expect the per capita income on crude oil to be as high
to be the same. Yeah.
Not possible. So basically what we've done by this demand for subsidy left, right, and center, we've just made it possible for some demagogue and corrupt bureaucrats to take the little that we have and basically deceive us about using it to help us.
Yeah.
While incapacitating us.
Yeah.
Making us a lot less productive than we should have been.
Yeah.
Because really what we need as people is the infrastructure to make us productive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't have it. Now we want to export something out of the country. The port is in shambles, the roads are in shambles, there's no real infrastructure, You can't travel between here and some states without getting kidnapped. Right? All of these things for me are connected.
Oh, yeah, they are.
All connected. Yeah. So, but of course, you can also look at it from the other side, which is, what's the argument that those that are clamoring for subsidy, what's the argument they're making? Some of them are saying, oh, you know what? It's an irresponsible government that we've always had. If you don't spend the money directly on you, they're going to steal it. There's a case to be made there, right? But it's almost like saying, I'm trying to find a good analogy now, and I think I'm struggling. It's almost like saying, oh, because somebody is going to steal your food. Yeah. The food you have in your...
Just eat all of it now.
Today, forget about tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? Don't reinvest. That's the argument they're making. So I don't think it's right. Now, the other key thrust of this administration is the appointments, right?
Yeah.
So there's something, remember, there's Forex, which I will also want to talk about.
Yeah.
There is the kind of appointment the government has made, I think the appointments have been quite diverse, and a lot of the people appointed are actually quite experienced. You mentioned one that is already locking out people for coming late.
the only one I actually know a little bit about is the new CBN governor.
Okay.
He was the chairman of Citizenship Group. So me, I haven't worked since, so I know a little bit. I still follow what they do, but go on.
So I mean, that's a very seasoned personnel. So these are not people who don't have pedigrees. They have a whole lot of pedigree and experience that I think will help the country. But for me, appointing the right people is just one element.
One element. Yeah.
You have to empower them, right? Hold them to account to result, and you need to also support them. You see, a lot of the issues we have are not just issues of not knowing what to do. It's really about having the political will to take some of these tough decisions.
Yeah.
And I think President Tinubu showed that he has that will. The removal of subsidy and some of the steps he took on Forex. Now, talking about Forex, I actually don't think they managed that one well. I think they left too many things to chance.
Okay.
And I think that's why the Naira has lost a large chunk of its value. But what I'm impressed about is how they are quickly reacting. So they're not just sitting down and doing nothing. And I'm sure that's why the president appointed the new CBN governor. Because I'm sure he must have looked around and asked himself, this is a very tough job. Who can do it? Who understands this, has the courage to take the right decisions, and can probably also work with people across so many agencies and across so many divides.
Yeah.
So it's still a relatively new government.
Yeah, it is.
4 or 5 months. But overall, I'll say I'm happy with what I'm seeing.
Okay.
I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I think we're on that path. I think if we are, I've always been an advocate of free market economics with a tinge of welfareism, taking care of the people or the people that are left behind. I mean, not subsidy. I'm always for targeted subsidies. I'm not for blanket.
Everybody eats.
My own is, you target it at specific groups for a period. I'm not in support of just giving out subsidies anyhow, like we've been having in the past, where even the central bank was subsidizing programs. I mean, it's so ridiculous. We hear the central bank. The duty of the central bank is monetary policies.
Policy, yeah.
Right, but I mean, these guys you were engaging in programs like you are, your regular government agency. You hear the CBN is giving money to that group and giving money to this group, and those kind of things. Those are normally
from what? Whose money?
Of course, Nigeria's money. And if there's no money to be given, they go into their money and they create inflation. So I think a lot of things were done wrongly in the past, especially the last 8 years of this administration. Plenty of things were done poorly. The focus of that administration was not about developing our capacity. It was more, in fact, if I'm to summarize this, I would say it was more about constricting our capacity to produce. And I think that's why we are finding ourselves where we are today.
Yeah.
Where foreign reserve has been totally depleted.
Well, I would say we all the governments of Nigeria, very few of them have done anything to increase the country's capacity to produce. Very few.
Absolutely.
You
know why that is so? Because political considerations always take top priority.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a very complicated country, let's face it. It's a very complicated country to run because there are so many conflicting interests all over, right? During President Jonathan's regime, government, there were a number of laudable projects or programs on the surface. Power privatization was a good one.
Yeah.
On the surface, it looked like the right thing to do.